Coming up on 21st Century. Preparing for the real thing.
Open the door right now, or I will shoot.
Emergency response teams. Train for war zones. Women and children behind bars in Afghanistan.
I'm a mother. I do not want to keep them in jail.
Should children be imprisoned with their mothers? Cleaning up Africa's largest slum.
It's really hard during the rainy season.
A young man's dream of transforming his neighborhood. Hello and welcome to 21st Century. I'm Daljit Dhaliwal. Exploding landmines and other dangerous remnants of war kill and maim thousands of people every year. But clearing these deadly threats requires a variety of complex skills. We went to Sweden to take part in a training exercise that was almost as tense as the real thing.
Open the door right now! Yeah, open the door, I will shoot! Open the door! What are you doing in this place?
We're just setting up a coordination center for the United Nations. We're just humanitarian workers.
I only told you guys, we don't need NATO, we don't need UN. We're loyal with our president. Just so you know, we will come back to you. We know where you're at. Back in the car. Go! Before I take my life!
While this may look like the real thing, these rebels are actually Swedish soldiers in disguise. Just hours earlier, Tammy Hall and other United Nations Mine Action staff arrived in northern Sweden for a training exercise. They're being prepared for urgent deployment to war zones. Their task is to coordinate life-saving mine clearance and bomb disposal and to allow aid to reach those in need. For the next 10 days, Tammy and her team will live in this fictional country called Sandland, where a civil war has just ended.
Sandland, our country, is divided along various ethnic lines.
Chris Clark, himself a veteran of frontline mine actions after ceasefires, is head trainer on the course.
The individual activities or scenarios are all replications of things that have actually happened to our people in those environments.
And learning how to respond is part of the training.
For many of them, that's probably the first time they've had a gun pointed in their face and told to get out of a car.
As the smoke settles in the immediate aftermath of wars, it's often mine action teams from the UN who are first to arrive on the scene. Landmines, cluster munitions,
That's it.
and unexploded bombs kill more than 5,000 civilians annually, and maim many more. In more than 70 countries around the world, the threat from unexploded ordnance lives on for years after conflicts have ended. At a camp set up by the Swedish Civil Contingencies Agency, conditions in the field are recreated. But as Tammy and her colleagues set up a centre to coordinate mine clearance, their work is continually hampered by the lack of security.
What are you not doing anything?
These rebels demand immediate UN assistance to clear cluster bombs littering their villages.
We have security concerns about our staff. Yesterday it wasn't a secure environment, so...
Security? We are the security. You come and help us and we have the area. It's our area.
I realize that. Can you put the guns aside? We can have a better conversation, honestly.
We have tried that.
Suddenly, things take a turn for the worse.
You cannot...
A live cluster bomb.
Exactly, and that's what makes the accidents for our people.
That's why we have teams that are coming to clear that, but they're not here yet. We don't have a capacity.
The rebels storm out, leaving the potentially lethal bomb on the table. The camp has to be evacuated.
We have a situation, a security situation. Everyone is to proceed to the area of the toilets now.
Confusion reigns as they wait for the bomb disposal team to arrive.
So it's a pretty volatile thing, so we can't afford for it to be disturbed in any way, because if it does and it detonates, then obviously we could have an accident and an injury.
As the tent is sealed off, Chris comments on the team's response to what could be in the field, a very real situation.
They were a little bit thrown by, like, there were people with guns in their camp. And yes, of course, it's a UN policy, you know, generally not to have guns in the camp, but de facto they are here. Militia carry guns.
During the next few days, the team compiles information in order to produce a map showing safe routes for the relief convoys. But their information is still incomplete. Then, help arrives in the form of another band of armed rebels, this time supposedly friendly.
What's the situation, Inga?
Their insider info on the location of minefields could be exactly what the team needs in order to start getting aid to where it's needed. Team member Mark Williams agrees to meet their leader, a local warlord.
We're not getting as much information as I'd like, so we've got to, and the only way we can get it is perhaps negotiate with these guys.
So unfortunately I have to blindfold you.
No, yeah, fine.
Okay.
Yep. When he put the hood on, it was sort of like I was very indecisive about what I was going to do.
All right, stop.
I'm one of the warlords.
Well, I'd like to know any information that you might have on the known minefields. What I'm going to be able to do for you is to give you peace of mind that you can walk back into these fields, that you can go back to cultivating the land if that's what you do, or hunting. In the back of my mind, I was just hoping that I wasn't going to be stuck down a well somewhere and be left to my own devices.
So I will provide you with a map. The known to us, the minefields in this neighborhood area, and I hope that will help your organization to help my people.
Yeah, certainly, yep.
At last, the team can now start deploying clearance experts and making routes safe.
Yeah. There's no problem.
This marks a turning point in their training.
We have to do this again.
You probably learn more lessons from what you do badly during training than you learn from that which goes well during training.
Max Curley is director of the United Nations Mine Action Service.
Better to do it here than wherever we next deploy, the rapid response for real.
And until the world is free of explosives left over after conflicts, there will be a need to continue to deploy teams for real. So, is Tammy Hall ready to go?
I don't think I was their star candidate, but what they said at the end was they would recommend me for a real mission. So on that grounds, I think I passed.
Everybody I've seen in the exercise, has certain attributes, and those attributes can always contribute to a positive deployment. If you can get this absolutely right on the day, it has such a positive effect on the larger humanitarian response.